Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. It's me. I'm back. Less sick now than I was before. So that's always a plus, for sure. Wow, look at that. He lives. So let's see. Let's get rid of this. Let me see. Look at that. There's the main screen. Let's see. Do I still have that project? I am missing a few projects as well. I don't know. Let's just create a new project, I guess. And if we're going to create a new project, let's keep dog fooding my own my own custom thing. So, boom boom. Use my template. Rust. Why not? Select it, create an edit, and send it. Okay, cool. So let's do this really quickly. So, first order of business. You can see I was working on some Godot stuff earlier. Did not want to work on it on stream since it seems like sometimes there's a risk of me like blue screening when I'm compiling. So I pivoted. Split second executive decision not to do any C++ today. Because every now and then, I guess, because I did do a memory check as well, so it's not my RAM being bad. It's something else. Probably. You never know sometimes. What is ECS? It stands for Entity Component System. So you can have an ECS system, which is an Entity Component System, which is kind of funny for when people use it like that. Basically, it's just a matter of how you structure your game. So generally how you would structure a game, and I'm actually going to structure it the normal way first. So the normal way is just normal, like object oriented. So every object has a like logic and data associated with it. So in this example that I'm going to be making, we're going to be doing Pong. So each paddle, you know, has a position. Every paddle, you know, listens for inputs, etc. Whereas in an ECS, each paddle is more or less just data. So you'll have, you know, this paddle has a position and a sprite and a hitbox, and that's it. Then in a separate system, you'll have like a paddle input system. So for each paddle, you'll have you'll run them through the paddle input system, which will take your inputs. You'll have a position system, which will place the paddles on the screen. You'll have a collision system, which will handle collisions with the ball, etc. It might sound super roundabout, and it is somewhat roundabout. The nice part is that everything is just data. Right, so if you wanted to tweak something in the game, all you would really need to do is, you know, just tweak it. I don't really have anything more to say about that. It just works. Whereas in an object-oriented system, you would need to, you know, find out where does the logic lie. So like, did you do input handling at the game screen level? Did you do input handling at the paddle level? You know, that's the idea. It's mostly just a way of like structuring your game, and then you'll also, in theory, get a speed up as well, depending on the ECS that you, or the ECS pattern, ECS type that you use. So there's sparse set ECS, which is basically just a database. There is archetypal, which is like a fancy way of grouping data together, so you kind of avoid cache misses, I think. I think that's the idea. I'm not actually super sure about that. I just realized I read the wiki on this, so I didn't realize the smallest thing was just data. Yeah. Smallest thing is components. Or I guess the smallest thing is the entity, which is just an ID. And then there's components, which are just data. And then systems, which are just something completely separate, right? So I've done this actually before. I just have never made like a real kind of game with it, so it'd be nice to do it. So here is Pong written using Godot+Rust. So hold on, let me, there's the existing repo. I did that, yeah, 1.5 years ago. It's been a while. It's been a while. Grab my icon.godot. It's not here anymore for whatever reason. Drop it in here. Alright, there we go. Beautiful. So the paddle is just going to be the classic Godot icon. Oh, hello, Wolfpack system. How are you? How do I want to do this? Let's squish it, I guess. Yeah, I think what I'm going to have to do, I'm trying to structure this so it's easy for me to rip out the GD script and replace it with my own stuff later. Doing well. That's good to hear. Good to hear. Oh, you know what? Let's just do it basic. Oh, I guess this is 32 by 32, isn't it? All right. So I guess the paddles will just be big rectangles, I guess. Let's all right. Let's do this the proper way. Let's create actual stuff. All right. So new. Let's make it. How big are paddles usually? We'll call it the 32. What's happened? 32, 16 by 64. Why not? Very thin lad. Paint buckets. That's not paint bucket. Fill. PNG. And then we'll use the Godot icon as the thing. Actually. New. 128, 256. There we go. Does one do realistic 3D water with physics and buoyancy? Got to go? Alright, later. Thanks for asking a question. I'll be here, just kind of doing my own thing. Let's make it blue, why not? And the Godot icon can be the ball. So quick load, paddle, it's beautiful. Collision shape, this needs to be 64, 128. Alright, so there's your paddle. Doing it in my usual way. So there's your paddle. We'll do this in GDScript really quick. Just to demonstrate I know how to do it. So you'll have export var side. We'll assign an enum to it as well. So enum side. So there's left. Hold on. Left and right. Side none. There we go. And then based off of your inputs. Let's do it in physics process, it doesn't hurt. So if input is action pressed, let's see, we'll just use the built-ins as well. So UI up and down. UI, please. UI up. Elif input is action pressed. UI down. Yeah. If that's true, then we'll do like a kinematic body, just move it up or down. Fairly easy. Actually, we can just make this a static body, so it's even easier. Now we'll just manually move it up and down. So it'll be global position dot y plus equals, I don't know, some value, probably 5. Export var speed, call 10, why not? Suppose we could just use position. I don't know why I always default to using global position. I think it's because I've been burned before by getting it mixed up. Oh, and this, if we're going up, we want a minus. This one should be plus. Phenomenal. Oh, and then also, you know what we can do is key pressed. Is key pressed scan code key W. Or I suppose we can do it like this, right? So key up and key down, and then do it based off of the side that we assign in the export var. So like var move up key, some sort of integer, var move down key, right? And so based off of the side, so if, hold on, we should probably assign a default, right? So we'll just do key space key backspace. So that should never happen. We'll do match side, so it'd be side chat for avatar. Hello, hello. Sick avatar. You got the, in the Twitch emotes parlance, it's a poop. Actually, that's not right. In chat emote parlance, Twitch emote parlance, it's actually a chocolate. You got it completely backwards. You're not allowed to use poop in the emote name, but chocolate's totally fine. I'll try not to take that personally. All right, good luck with that. I want you to take that personally. What I'm doing, I'm really quickly making a quick Godot implementation of Pong, and then we're gonna move it over into Godot+Rust plus an ECS, because I've already done that before, kind of. But I want to have it so everything is driven by the ECS this time. So we're gonna make Pong first in GDScript though, just to have reference points. Also because it's not hard to do it. So just bear with me. You can take this as like a really easy tutorial, I guess, if you're not sure how to make Pong. Key up. Key down. All right, cool. So move up key. And is key pressed. Move down key. Easy. Phenomenal. So we go to game. Slap some entities into here. We'll have a camera. So the idea of like using an ECS to just drive your entire game. I've had this idea before, but also if you look in the Godot+Rust book, which is possibly where I got the idea from. So here is the Godot+Rust thingy, user guide. Hold on. Isn't there... Let's see... game architecture, yes. They actually have something like that, like what I'm describing here. Is there a way for me to link to this? Yeah, there we go. So you're pretty much the entire game is driven by Rust, and then you have Godot just being like the input and windowing layer, along with, you know, just like a really nice UI system as well. So Godot is the renderer, input handler, windowing, and then UI system, and then you'll have Rust being your like the game logic backend in its entirety. That's the idea. I want to see if I can make it work. I've never actually have tried to do that with Pong, which is kind of my go-to test project for a bunch of stuff. Yeah. So slap that here. Let's see. Control A, just give me some paddles. These paddles are fairly large. Where is this? We'll just place these manually for now as well. So that's 4, 5, 0. So we'll call this, I don't know, left paddle. Why not? Left paddle, right paddle. Going to transform. 50. Set your side as right. I believe you can do export vars in Rust as well. I've never tried, so I'm not a huge fan of doing, you know, editor script variables. Not my favorite thing to do. All right, hold on. Script inherits. Oh, my bad. Static body 2D. Do that really quickly. Wow, he's done it. How fancy. Color X, give it a background. This is going to be something that will always be the same. Canvas, canvas layer. This will be the background. Give this full rect. Make it so it doesn't make my eyes bleed. Oh, and then also needs to draw earlier. So we'll put this as -1 so it always draws behind everything. There you go. It's beautiful. All right. So that's like halfway there. that's like halfway there. And then we can do it so... I guess we can just do this as a kinematic body thing. I think the part of the hard part is that the more physics things I'm using, the harder this is gonna get. Because what I'm planning on using is Bevy. Bevy, which is pretty much the leading game engine in Rust development so far, or game development. And more specifically Bevy ECS, which is, I don't know, I like how nice it is and nice and easy it is to use our ECS. And then there is Rapier 2D. Rapier 2D. Give me the GitHub. Yeah. 2D and 3D physics engine, written in Rust, focused on performance. So they do have a Bevy plugin, I believe. I need to find it, but I've seen it before. I've seen it before. So that's the plan. That's the plan. So I'll use Bevy, ECS, and then Rapier 2D to drive this. But for now, we'll just be doing we'll just doing it myself. Actually, and since we're gonna be doing it myself, let's do it. Or not myself, but we're moving over to a different physics engine, I suppose. So this will be called paddle. This will be called ball. The collision shape attached to it, it'll be a square. It's not really a circle, but that's okay. This needs to be extents of 32 and 32 because this is going to have a sprite attached to it called the Godot icon. Wow. So that's ball. There we go. Paddle. Oh, sorry. Ball. There we go, and then we'll just fire it left. We could randomize it, but that's... eh. I suppose I should randomize it, huh? So var random is equal to rand. Doesn't rand f give me a 0 to 1? Okay, yeah. So hold on. This is pretty easy to do on the Rust side. So if rand f is greater than or equal to 0.5, then we'll give it an initial velocity of, I don't know. What are the kinematic body, or not the kinematic body? What are the rigid body functions? Rigid body 2D. Add central force. Add central force. We'll call it a vector 2. Call it a 10, 0, something like that. Something like that. Var force is equal to 10. Add central force. B. Vector 2, force 10. Yeah, okay. So force equal to -10. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's pretty much it. Really quickly, boom. I forgot. There's gravity. Hold on. So we can jack this up. Turn off gravity. Applied force. Isn't there a way to lock? Or we can just turn off gravity, that's fine. Default gravity vector, let's call it 0. That's fine. Alright, well. 500. Bounce it one way, and then it doesn't bounce off because, you know, we should really be doing this as a, So static body. Guess we'll need to hook it up and check to see if we bounce. Alright. Switch it over to kinematic body. Kinematic body 2D. This doesn't exist anymore. Var velocity. Vector 2, 0. x is equal to 500, and then physics process. Do move and slide. Yeah, we'll just have the same velocity, right? Velocity x is equal to force. Guess we don't need to have this in between step anymore then. Velocity x. And then we'll connect to well, I suppose if we're doing that, then we should be checking for slide collisions, huh? So, kinematic body, 2D. So get slide collision. Where is it? I feel like this has changed. Yeah, get last slide collision. Get slide count. Okay. So if get slide count, I should be making this work via, I'm so indecisive. I should be making this work via rigid bodies, because that's the entire point of using an external physics engine. So just undo me. Hold on. Pretty easy. Boom. All right. What functions do we have on rigid body? I don't usually use rigid bodies, but so it goes. So get colliding bodies, and then this doesn't, well, yeah, get colliding bodies. Or I suppose we can do it on the paddle instead, right? So paddle connect, and then it's like body entered, I think. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is a static body 2D. Oh, it's a static body 2D, not an area 2D. Okay, then we'll do it on the ball. That's all cool. That's good. So func physics process. There's no reason to add the typing in Godot 3. It just makes me feel better about myself. So rigid body. There is, what was it called? Get colliding bodies. Yeah, okay. Get colliding bodies. Requires contact matter to be true. Contacts reported to, yeah, so. Colliding bodies is equal to this. It's an array. So if colliding bodies size is greater than 0, then there should be, returns a list of the bodies colliding with this one. Interesting. So is this like an actual body? Are these nodes? I wish it told me like the the types. That's my biggest gripe about Godot, is that arrays and dictionaries are untyped. I guess dictionaries is fine to be untyped, but at least arrays, man. So I guess we'll always take the first one. So, or we could always iterate through all of them as well. That's okay. Or isn't it? We could do it like, oh, hello, welcome back. Wolfpack, welcome back. Isn't there a way for me to do bounce? So we just set this to like a really high value. Okay, cool. Okay. So, hold on, doesn't that mean the gravity is like super messed up? Maybe we should just clear it. Can you help me? Sorry, my best friend was streaming. That's no problem. So, did you want an answer to your previous question, which was realistic 3D water with physics and buoyancy? Was that the intention? Contact monitor. Max 2 or max 1, right? Yes. I'm not sure. I mean, that's something that you can always Google. I know that there are water shaders that you can use. So realistic 3D water, if you want to have like buoyancy, you would have, you know, yeah, it's mostly just like a vertex shader in order to get like the wiggles, right? So vertex shader and fragment shaders, those are two things that you'll need to learn about if you want to do pretty much anything in 3D and manipulate them in like a fancy way. Vertex shaders manipulate how an object looks. And by manipulate how an object looks, I mean like its actual structure, where a fragment shader modifies its texture, the image assigned to the object. If you want to do physics and buoyancy, you can always check to see if your object is in the water. And then after that, it's just like a physics calculation, right? So you'll have, if you want to do buoyancy, it's just a calculation to see like, okay, you can always just add your own bob up and down if you're in the water. So it shouldn't be too hard. That's like a spring almost. Almost like a spring, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a hard question. Kind of a hard question. Body is in group. Yeah, kind of a hard question that's hard to answer if I'm not actually working on buoyancy. But I would recommend, you know, Googling it. It's a very common question. We'll do this really quick. Godot. Rigid body 2D. Bounce. Off. Static body. Couldn't find any videos on it. So are you doing like water, buoyancy, game dev? So there's a water interaction model for boats and video games. Unless you're asking about like a Godot specific one, I think that's unlikely. But the nice part about doing things in Godot is that it's pretty easy to translate most of these. Yeah, I don't think anyone's really going to have done like a Godot specific one. Like you're not going to have any code to copy. But I mean, that's programming, right? So buoyancy is all kind of It's just an algorithm. So you can look at the tutorial that someone else has done and then just try to make it work in Godot. That's kind of the problem, I guess, with Godot, is that you have to do that. Yeah. Like if you want like a really easy just plug and play solution, you should probably look into Should probably look into what's the word? Doing Unity, unfortunately. I can't program. Well, if you want to do like game development, anything associated with game development, unless you're like only an artist, like an environment artist, even then it's nice to have an understanding of programming. Yeah, you're gonna have to know a little bit. You're gonna have to know a little bit. Unity is a no-go. I have no space. Well, have I got the solution for you? You could learn how to program. You know, it's not as hard as everyone makes it out to be, so I'm sure you can do it, right? Like the tutorial is pretty much right here. I think something that's harder is actually doing the like the shader stuff. I think the shader stuff is a bit more difficult, in my opinion. Wasn't there a bounce function? There's a static body? The body's bounciness? Is that how that works? Physics material? Oh, you know what? Is that how that works? Oh. No, that's not how that works. I got a shader. Yeah, so then, you know, there we go. You're already halfway there. Already halfway there. I've done this before. I swear I've done this before. What was the what was the answer? Don't rigid body 2D, do they not have what I'm thinking of, like bouncing an object off another object? Get slide collision. Like isn't there like a bounce method? Am I thinking of something different? Physics body, layers, add collision, no. Collision object, isn't there a bounce? There's not? Am I going crazy? Hold on. Where have I done this before? I got a lot of projects. Hold on. Let's see, but I recommend, like, I don't know, I mean, this looks pretty good. Don't be scared off by like all the math and all the text. You know, give it a shot. See if you can figure it out. If not, you can always look for like a different Google search for like water physics game dev. Right. I probably don't want to do liquid simulation, but water interaction for boats, good engine per duty, water physics, and then someone will give you an algorithm. It's just an algorithm, right? But if you're looking for copy and paste, I don't have anything for you. It's unlikely for anything like that to exist. What is it called? I've done this before. I just don't remember what it's called. It's making me feel very dumb. Which is fair. Is it this one? Test motion? No. Let's see. Is it this? I don't think it is. Contact collider. Space state integrate forces? No. I guess we can just check for a collision and then, yeah, that's probably the easiest way. So if it's in paddle, then we'll add a central force, I guess last force. I guess like var last paddle, I guess. Or no, yeah, last direction, shall we say. Last sign, var, last sign. Which will be equal to 0. So add central force, and then we'll do last sign equals sign of force. So body is in group paddle. We don't care which paddle it is, but we will reverse the sign. So last sign times equals -1. Then we'll add central force. Vector 2. I don't know. Like, rand range from 300 to 800, something like that. And then also just a rand range, or 300 to 800 times the last sign. And then rand range. I suppose this one will need to be just way more general, right? So, like negative 500 to 500, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. That'll probably work. It's freaking out. It's freaking out. Seems pretty good. Wasn't quite super correct. Should bounce the other way. I guess it didn't bounce the other way. Or is it because of the gravity is all kinds of messed up? Just give me no gravity, I guess. I can't use that article, I have slight dyslexia. Don't we all have slight dyslexia? If you're not focusing really hard. Oh, hello, Bumdy. Hello. I too also struggle with reading big blocks of text. What I find helps me when I'm reading big blocks of text is really just do something like this, where you'll read the article and then just kind of click like this if I need to read a sentence or two. So it helps me focus on one specific thing, right? But if you want something different, here's the Google search I used for water physics, right? So water physics game dev. So playing with water physics, I don't know, gamedev.net. I'm not actually familiar with this one. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. And they even have a video, but I'm not sure if their implementation is good. I almost never watch videos because I always get super distracted. Let's do this as well. Add more static body 2Ds. What am I doing? So this needs to be a collision shape, and then we'll do all the positioning via the editor, because that's the same thing that I'm going to be doing in Rust. How big is the screen? Doesn't really matter. We'll make it like 5,000. Put it up here. It's okay, it can be invisible. Top. But suppose I should just do transform. Hey. Oh, did I accidentally move the collision shape instead? I did. 290. So let's grab that. Yeah, so what I'm working on, Bumd, by the way, is just a quick proof of concept for basically Pong, but instead of using Godot's physics, I want to use Rust physics instead. I was going to work on... some like just regular Godot development, I guess. But I blue screened once when I was compiling. So I was like, all right, you know what? It's probably not a good thing if I blue screen again. So let's just pivot to something I've been meaning to work on instead. Last X sign. Hey Bumd, by the way, if you're still here, how do you make a rigid body bounce? I can't remember. I've done this before, but it's just not coming to me anymore. So some collision shapes as physical world to Rust? Oh, no, absolutely not. Physics material? Well, see, when I set it to bounce, it doesn't bounce. It just kind of like, it bounces like a ball, which is not what I want. What I want it to do is just bounce off like entirely, if that makes any sense. But maybe it was because I was doing it incorrectly. So we do new physics material, set bounce to just 1. Yeah, see, now it just bounces like a... it bounces like a ball, which is kind of incorrect. How do I get it? How do I just get like regular bounce physics, if that makes sense? There's gravity. How do I turn off gravity? It's not the gravity scale, right? Yeah. Or actually, is it the gravity scale? No. I don't have gravity enabled. See, that's the thing, that's what I'm confused about, is I don't have gravity enabled. So like, I thought that would be okay. Am I dumb? This is how you, like, it should be like super disabled. Change the engine. Godot physics for a sec, okay. No, it's still bouncing. So I add 1 central force to it, by the way. I don't know if that's a factor. These should, oh, you know what? This should be an impulse, right? Not add impulse. What is it called? Is it not impulse? Central impulse, okay. Add central, this is a rigid body. Add central impulse. Am I stupid? Ooh. Rigid body. Apply central impulse. Okay, I'm dumb. Yeah, you know what? That was probably it. Okay, well, there we go. There's your Pong. Probably need to keep applying force, I guess. There we go. That was the problem. It was not central force, it's central apply central impulse. Ah. But yeah, so anyways, the idea is, so Godot, it shouldn't slow down though. Yeah, I don't know. There must be some sort of, is it the friction? We set friction to 0, but anyways, Godot+Rust book. Give me the book. Give me the game architecture. So check this out. I've had this idea for a little bit. And then they also outlined the same idea in the Rust book, or the Godot+Rust book. So it's basically just using Godot as your input handler, your windowing handler, and your renderer. And then everything else is controlled by Rust. So the idea is to use Bevy ECS and Rapier 2D as the physics engine. So we'll see if that works. Yeah, there we go. That is it's pretty much Pong. That's pretty much Pong. So I'm sure that this will work. I just need to make it work, if that makes sense. Apply central impulse. You know what? I do need to have the last sign. Boom, boom. Now we'll just apply the central impulse to the other side. Apply central impulse like that. If it bounces off the walls, then who cares, right? All right, I'm missing some. Oh, okay, it's this part. There we go. Seems a bit sus. Oh, hello, hello. Hello, Nova. Liminal, Nova. How are you doing? Just created a really quick proof of concept. Or I'm creating a really quick proof of concept. Was just struggling with remembering how to use rigid body 2Ds. But the idea is, I keep bringing this up, but let's show it again. Where is it? Where is it? I had it open somewhere. Is it this one? Was it this one? It was this one, okay. Oh, physics stuff? Yeah, it's physics stuff. Well, it's not really physics stuff, but it's more like moving the collision stuff over to something completely different. So here's the architecture diagram. Let's just post that in chat again so you can take a look. Basically using Godot for windowing, input, and UI. And then using Rust for pretty much everything else. So this is pretty much it. Oh, I'm hitting like a million errors. Contact monitor is not true. That's true. That's true. Very true. Contact monitor 2. We'll just add it to 1. Boom. Just launches off. All right, that seems pretty good. That seems pretty good. We can do it like 100 to 200. Why not? We'll gather every more increasing stuff. All right, we won't do a fail state. That's fine. Really seem to like Rust. I still haven't checked it out though. Rust is pretty sick. Rust is pretty sick. 10 out of 10. Would recommend if you can wrap your head around the idea of borrowing data. So if you're used to pretty much anything else, nothing else has the same kind of constraints as Rust does. So it makes it hard to jump into. I don't know, I banged my head against the wall for long enough that it finally started to make sense, and here we are. So git add all. Alright, now we'll hit it with a cargo init. So make directory rust, cd rust cargo init. This will be our Rust version of the application. So git checkout branch Rust. Borrowing data like memory pointers? Kind of. It's more of the idea that once you have data, you're not allowed, nothing else is allowed to modify it. But it's not a mutex, right? It's not a mutex where like something has a lock and then you need to wait for the mutex to unlock if you want to touch the data. It's more like the compiler like pre-scans your code so that only one thing, it's like a pre-mutex almost. It's a pre-compiler check for mutexes if you want to think about it like that. But the nice part is that it does all that, you know, memory safety stuff for you, but also still existing at, I guess, the same level of speed as C++. So the hope, at least, is that Rust code should be as fast as C++, if not faster. Whether or not that's always the case, it's hard to say. Oh, I said C++ and then enabled the C++ program. Extension. Wrong. Don't do that. All right, so now what we're doing is we're going to start rewriting a bunch of this stuff in Rust. Let's see. Mutexes are pretty darn helpful, so something similar built in Rust would be nice. It is pretty nice, yeah. It is pretty nice. I don't usually do too many... I actually like it when code is able to touch the same data in threads, so that... Mostly because I like heavily abuse it, but... I've written a few Rust things. I made a voxel engine using Rust plus Godot before, it was pretty fast. Nice, nice. Do you have a repo? Links are allowed in chat, etc., etc. This is the architecture I'm following, more or less. And not really, it was quite a while ago as well. Fair enough, fair enough. I've written several things in Rust before. Let me switch me over to vertical screen. So I've done the basic Godot Pong Rust stuff before. But it wasn't done using an ECS, and that's what I want to do now. This thing actually works via Rust as well. Or not as well, but it does just work via Rust. It looks super messed up. Okay, there we go. So now it's reading my mouse position. So Godot actually loses control of your mouse once you window off, but I'm using a little Rust library to keylog myself. But I don't use it when I'm doing two screens. Oh, wait, hold on. Godot+Rust probably gotten better. Any particular ECS? I'm using Bevy, mostly because I've integrated it successfully before. Let me see. It was it's like Dodge the Creeps. Yeah, I ported Dodge the Creeps to Bevy. And let me tell you, wasn't more performance. It was about the same performance, but that's because I wasn't using any, all collision was turned off. So I think that's fair. Let's grab this stuff. This is pretty good with the parallelism stuff. I don't really know about all that stuff. All I know is that it's a lot nicer to work with. Like I've tried using Legion. I've tried using what's the one that Amethyst used to use before Amethyst shut down? That one was it was a sparse set one. Forget. I've used Hex, I've used Shipyard. I've tried out a bunch of the ECSs. Just making Pong and Rust. Although that was a while ago. Before I settled on Bevy. But that was like when Bevy was like, I think it was version 4, I want to say. Yeah, I'm unfortunately the type of person that has, I try out a lot of stuff. It would really benefit me to actually settle down and learn something really well. Which is what I've kind of done with Godot. Be careful with the 3D engine in Godot, it doesn't like threads. Yeah, I don't know. I don't mess with 3D too often. The only 3D I've really messed with is this one. Or the only 3D I've gone deep with is this one. I wrote this. Everything you find here, you can find on my GitHub. Look at that. OpenCPageGD. This one actually does use Rust as well. It uses Rust for lip syncing, but I'm not using a model that can lip sync. Alright. I'm thinking. How would you do an ECS here? Oh. Hello, Caxips. How are you? You know what? We'll do it like this. Boom. Mod ECS pub struct ECS. Alright. So I've done this before. Also on stream, but that was a while ago. Also back when you used to have to assign a user data to all your structs, but I don't think that's necessary anymore. Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm making Pong. I've already made Pong once. I just wrote Pong. It kind of sucks, but that's okay. That's not supposed to be good. Copium. Now I'm migrating over to an ECS format using a Rust ECS. Plus, I'm wanting to use Rapier for the collisions. Yeah. I've made games before. I'm not a beginner. I mean, I guess I am still a beginner because I've never really released a game and made money from it. But I've done a few games. I've done a few game jams. I've done 2 Ludum Dares. Looks like it's pronounced Ludum Dare. Inherit. So these are the 2 things that you need if you want to just rip out the ECS from Bevy ECS. I am using Bevy ECS, right? Okay. And there is a Bevy ECS, Bevy ECS on crates IO, right? I actually didn't check. I just assumed that there would be a 6.0. Okay, there is a 6.0. Cool. Probably don't need to look at this anymore then. You don't use the crates VS Code extension? Is there a crates VS Code extension? Crates? Oh, there is. Look at that. You know what? I didn't know that. I didn't know it existed. How neat. I don't know. Still might not use it though. Well, we'll keep it on the down low. Maybe once I grow too fed up with it, I'll use it. Or using Rust Analyzer. Now you gotta understand, like for work, I work in like a super disconnected environment. So I'm very, very used to just kind of guessing what things I need. Compile and then wait to see if there's an error. So, I don't know. Doesn't seem to be biting me too hard just yet. It's one of those things where it's like, once it really becomes a problem, then I will try to solve it. Otherwise, I'm not gonna preemptively try to solve things. Or the Rust extension. I am using the Rust extension. Yeah, I use Better Toml and Rust, and that's pretty much it. Otherwise, I don't know. It seems good enough to me. Could things be better? Yeah. Could things be a lot worse? Yeah. You know, I could be having to write this like entirely in Vim, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Vim's not too bad. But also, I could be forced to write this on like on the machine that only has 9 gigs of RAM and 2 cores. Like I have to do at work. Recommend trying Rust Analyzer. Is Rust Analyzer good? Like Vim. Can't live without it, sadly. I'm okay with Vim. I can use Vim if I have to, right? So like Vim, look at that. We can do searches. Oh, hold on. We can do searches. What else can we do? I don't know. That's pretty much it. We can search. We can press E, capital E, W, capital W, press I. I don't know. Pretty much all the good stuff, really. So what are we doing here? Let me think. Let me think. I think we need to register things with the ECS and then attach collision shapes to them. So we have our left paddle, right paddle. We'll go into these and just remove the collision shapes, I guess. And so these will just be sprites. Macros and global commands. Pretty sure Rust Analyzer supports Vim, so that's not an issue. What is Rust? Okay, let's actually Rust Analyzer, an alternative Rust language server to the RLS. I don't know. RLS doesn't seem too bad. Is it? How much better is it? I guess what's the difference? It's recommended to disable the Rust extension when using the Rust Analyzer extension. It is sponsored by Mozilla and Embark. Embark is pretty good. I've heard of them. They sponsor a lot of the Rust game dev stuff. I've seen them on a few repositories. Yeah, like having them available on servers I manage, but VS Code is still I would prefer. Yeah, well, I don't know. It's hard to say. Sometimes I'll actually just use Notepad. Like you wouldn't believe how tough it is to program on like a remote connection with only 2 cores. Like I've written like entire like packages in Golang just in Notepad. Godex, have you seen this thing? I have seen Godex. That's what pretty much everyone told me to use when I was like, here's a weird idea. What if I used an ECS in Godot? And they're like, why don't you just use Godex? I'm like, no. That's like not the point. Schedule. Yeah, the point is though, I want to see if like this is like still a viable way of doing stuff. Alright, so what is your problem? Struct literal without path. Oh, that's true. I wasn't paying attention. It's unmatched. I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm part of the generation that doesn't really use that many keybinds. Well, I shouldn't say that as someone who uses a 48% keyboard, but and is currently using a 48% keyboard. All right, what is your problem? Cannot find ECS. How did I spell it? I spelled it wrong. Yeah. Having syntax highlighting would be a nightmare. It's okay. You'll get used to it. you get used to it. What's harder to get used to is like waiting for programs to build and or execute. Like I wasn't used to it before, but it was like I used to have to wait for my Python 2 code or script, I guess, because all it was doing is just running a really quick like pull job from a server that we owned. So I knew it was fast because we could ping it really easily. But whenever I would test the script, it would be like, all right, we gotta wait like 5 seconds. I was like, all right, we're running it, we're running it, we're running it. Because I knew it was fast because I could ping the server. It was like, yeah, this is like 0.1 milliseconds of latency. Like we're on the same box. You code how you code? My code is, well, my code is not the most efficient for sure. My code is not the most efficient. All right, hold on. I'm remembering how to do this now. Mute. I really should just like copy this, I guess. But we're not going to. Because I don't remember how a lot of it works. All right, so we put a lot of resources into here. There was an input queue. I remember doing that in Dodge the Creeps. Yeah. By the way, this is the repository that I'm working off of. You need to code fast and long typing. Vim will make it better. I don't know about that. maybe I'll learn Vim better by doing long code snippets. I did write like a 1,000-line script using Vim on a server. So, I mean, that was the code that I was talking about with the Python 2 stuff. How much Godot you plan to use? Just the visual server, integrate the scene tree with the ECS? I'm planning on doing this. Let me copy this over Stewie. So, pretty much as possible. I'm just using Godot for inputs, windowing, and rendering. And then also UI. UI is also pretty good. I like using the Godot UI system. I think I've actually grown a lot past this. Like this is okay, I guess. Now that I've like created a lot more UIs in Godot, I feel a lot more confident. Even though this is actually also pretty strange, because this UI that you see here is actually kind of laid out like HTML. So it's parsed using it's configured using XML, and then I create the elements afterwards. So it's actually possible to change the UIs on the fly and then just reconstruct the view, and then the application will just continue to run. Something like that. Right, so I use mouse to hover stuff over the files and not make any difference. Yeah, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Alright, so I need to have the stages. Alright, my lurk command is still broken. Thanks for illuminating that for us. Makes me very sad. I really need to fix that bot at some point, but it won't be today. You know what? We're just gonna grab all this. We're just gonna grab all this. Actually, we're not gonna grab the ECS implementation. Is it copying if I wrote my own stuff? Godot ID. I don't think I need to have a Godot ID anymore, so we'll get rid of that. Renderables to remove. Probably don't need that anymore. Struct player. Probably don't need that. Vim isn't straightforward like VS Code. You can't just start using Vim executing it. You need plugins to config. Yeah, well, see, that's the problem of working on like servers and stuff, right? Is that I don't have that kind of stuff. Right, because I'm just bouncing between many servers, and I know that there is a way for you to bring your config with you. I just don't have that. Like my environment at work is very constrained. I don't know how much more I can emphasize that. It's tough. It's tough. Insert resource. Now I'm just guessing at what I'm supposed to be putting into here. Input queue, new. I don't remember what an input queue is. What did I do here? It's just a vec queue, which is just a queue of various Godot inputs. Yeah, okay. You may SSH over your Vim computer. Your Vim config, you mean? Yeah, I know you can do that, but like in the environment that we have to program in at work, it's very tough, right? Because there's the concept of a security bubble, which I found that a lot of people aren't super familiar with. So like, even though you're in like the same like group or the same project or the same sector, you might be in a different, basically a security bubble. So if you bring over files that you're not supposed to, and then you like, I guess you accidentally leave them somewhere, guess what? They're gonna trace you. They'll scan your access logs and then you're fried after that. So I wouldn't want to do that by accident. It's a tough work environment. I don't remember what delta is supposed to do, but we're going to insert that anyways. I don't think I need a renderables to remove. Here's a bunch of systems. There's the hello world system. That's a pretty good one. Yeah, so we'll add systems later, I guess. Add systems. I think what we want to do is synchronize with Godot. I don't know if that's actually a good idea or not. Something I didn't really, or still don't super understand from a lot of the examples for Godot+Rust is some examples actually use a tref instead of a, I guess, a reference. Like a reference, like this little character here instead of, so some examples actually use tref. That's a tref. Instead of just a regular reference. And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what the difference is. Is there an example of that architecture? It's a big bank. It's a big bank. So pretty much everything is routed through some sort of like routing layer. There's a lot of routing layers. So even though you have an IP address endpoints, what actually happens is that some other thing in the intranet catches your outgoing connection, scans it, and then routes you afterwards. So oftentimes you're never actually like really pinging the other server. You're actually pinging the routing layer. Unless you're like already on the server, in which case it'll be a lot faster because, you're already inside the same security bubble. If you know what the security bubble exists, it's hard to explain. The Godot+Rust architecture. There is not. I just kind of have it in my head, but we can start drawing something out of what I'm envisioning. So if we take one of these, we can do the classic paint stuff. So, I don't know, there's the Godot part. So we have inputs. We're not going to include windowing, but input and UI from here. And then we'll have, okay, let's label this as Godot. So Godot has input and UI. And then there's also the main loop. Okay, hold on. I've done this in a really weird way. So the idea, I guess it would be the same stuff, right? So this is the main loop. And then here's Rust, which has more stuff in it. So this is the Rust part. So what I'm envisioning is probably, like, we need to synchronize with Godot. I think that's 100% probably. We don't want to use our own delta, we want to use Godot's delta. So Godot has a delta, so we'll send over that. That's not how you do it. This is how you do it. Should probably be using draw IO or something. So we send over a delta. Delta is used by Rust. Rust has systems, so we'll have, I don't know, we'll call this systems, I guess. Yeah, and then we send over the delta, and then we'll also send over any input as well. And then those will be used in the system, so we'll probably not tick, but then we'll, yeah, we won't, yeah. Usually in like a self-contained Rust game, you would have some sort of tick function, but instead we're using just the Godot ticks, which might introduce some latency, but we'll have like an input system. I don't know why I've created a second box. So there's an input system. We'll have the input system, collision system. What's the other thing I'm looking for? Render system. It's not really like a render system. It's more just like positioning, I guess. Yeah, it's probably closer to position. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, right? That's all we really need to do Pong, I think. And then we'll pass that data back. I'll pass it back, and then Godot will handle the rendering from there. Yeah, this will be caught somewhere. Actually, no, because the rendering will be handled by our, like a render system, I guess. So, you know, oh, geez. Send me back. Yeah, I guess I will be using the visual server then. Yeah. Using visual server. Yeah, something like that. What if Rust lags out? I think that's very unlikely. It's more likely that this to here will be slower. Yeah, I think this is the only concern, I guess. Right? Is what if it's really just going over the layer. So this could be slow. So we might have some, like a desync between these two things, for sure. I don't foresee that being a huge issue though. I mean, Godot will handle so fast and Rust will have more delay with 100 physics objects, for example. Well, I don't think so, right? Because as long as the idea is that the physics system actually exists on the Rust side. Would Godot stop rendering unless it gets the input? I don't think so. I think it would just kind of like hang. It will just kind of like hang weirdly. So I suppose, yeah, maybe. It won't stop rendering, but it will stop moving. So it'll look like it'll just look like regular stuttering, I guess. But we'll see if that's like an actual problem. We'll see if it's an actual problem. I think that was a good exercise though. So how do you spell collision? It's collision with one S or two S's. Losing confidence again. Collision. There we go. Okay, one S. Updating. Stop updating the positions? Yes, essentially, yeah, because the plan is to have the visual server handle the rendering. I think how the code that I'm referencing here, that I also wrote, by the way, Godot was still handling the Godot was still handling the positioning of things on screen. So if you look at the code, it's a bit strange. So check it out. Is this the right one, or am I crazy? Hey. Am I dumb? Yeah, no, Mia. Here's how the positioning stuff was done. So all the enemies, all the creeps in Dodge the Creeps, had their position determined by Bevy ECS 050. And so but the positioning was still handled by a GD script. So every single enemy would have to call, you know, global position is equal to main ECS read data for their entity ID, which is kind of weird. So every time an entity was spawned, it would have an associated entity ID attached to it, and then just pass to the ECS. I think that was part of the slowdown, or at least why it was only as fast as just regular GD script. Is because I guess the FFI bridge was a little slow. Yeah, I'm not sure what these are gonna do, but we'll think about it. We'll think about it. Yeah, part of the hard part for sure is reading the inputs, I think. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it the same way I did it here. So there's just going to be like a different thing here that will need to be called in like the process function somewhere. Yeah, and then I use like an input queue system. So I believe Godot's built-in input handler also uses a queue. So this is also another source of latency that could possibly occur. Just because we're passing things from queue to queue. If you live in a country that has a lot of queues, you will feel right at home. Yeah, I think that's okay though. That's okay. Let me see. So this is the input Godot singleton. Do we have input handler? Oh no, okay. Let's look up the docs. Okay, I'm porting the add-on to Godot 4. There are nasty bugs still. Yeah, I believe that. It's tough. It's tough. It's I don't know. It's really discouraging to have like your system just completely break even though it should be working. So I would really only use Godot 4 for like Pong. Yeah, GDScript 2.0 gives no compiler errors, but the code still doesn't work. Yeah. It's like I'm not sure if my code will work anyway, so I don't need like the engine also being unsure. It's annoying. I believe you. I believe you. What is this? What? Wait, hold on. What is this? Eh? Look at that. Hold on. Look at this function. Get. Ooh. Returns the magnetic field strength in microtesla for all axes of the device's magnometer sensor. What the heck is a magnometer? Ooh. What is this? Is this like for Teslas? What is that code? What the heck is a magnometer? Magnometer. Is that like a? It's not like an accelerometer. What's a magnometer? Maybe magnetic sensor mobile? Is that how that works? When did Godot get support for a magnometer? I've never seen that one before. That's cool. Alright. Get key pressed. What was I looking at? Get key pressed. Where is it? Is key pressed. Wording is weird. I remember Tesla Moore was looking for Godot developer. Yeah. Did you actually see there was a follow-up Reddit post about that? Where I think it was like their car UI thing where you were able to like look at a 3D model of your car. That was actually written using Godot. So it wasn't like their entire car OS was now Godot, but yeah. At least one application in their car OS was using Godot for rendering and input and stuff, which is really cool. That's really cool. All right, how did I do this here? So is key pressed, move up key. So that's a bit harder to do in Godot+Rust. How would I do the same thing here? I think I would need to pass in the key list enum, right? So we do if input handler is I wonder, is the Rust analyzer better than this? Would Rust analyzer actually give me code completion? That would be pretty sick. Let's try it. I have no idea. You have both Rust analyzer and Rust laying plugins enabled. These are known to conflict and cause various functions of both plugins to not work correctly. You should disable one of them. Yeah, that's fine. So let's disable this globally. Let's enable this workspace and then hit this with a reload window. All right, does this give me code completion? That would be pretty sick. All right, it's running cargo check, so I'm familiar with that one. I gotta use the restroom, so I'll be right back while it's building in the background. Oh, geez. Hello, I'm back. Expected a block. You know what? This might be way better. I don't know. Let's see. I'm not familiar with Rust Analyzer. Input handler. Oh, you know what? This gives me like the little things there. That's neat. Where it tells you what the input type is. Oh, but it still doesn't give me like sick code completion though, so. It does give me this though, which is a bit nicer. I don't know, does the regular Rust extension give me this too? I don't know. Key list. Does this not exist in Rust? What was the search key? Press S to search key list. Is this just a regular enum or no? Core types, global constants. Okay, so this is in global constants. Global constants. Oh, that's actually pretty sick. Yeah, let's just start typing and I'll figure it out I'll figure out the rest later. So there's W or key W. I don't like how it like analyzes things as fast as possible though. That's kind of freaking me out. Yeah, actually, you know what? Who was the one that suggested that? Crazy Stewie. That's actually like super sick intel. What a game changer. Is this what CLion uses? If you're used to the JetBrains suite of things. Because I think this feels like how a CLion works, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I had the opportunity to use CLion once at my job. And then I submitted my project, OpenCFace, to just JetBrains' open source program thing, and got approved to just have a free whatever. Free access to their tooling, which I think is like a $200-something value. Let me check. How much is that actually? If we go into incognito mode, jetbrains.com, how much is... We'll look at CLion for now, right? Download. Don't actually download it for me. Buy. Yearly billing, all products pack for individual use. Yeah, $250. I was actually considering shelling out money, like 90 bucks just for CLion. Even though I'm writing Rust code right now, and currently using VS Code. Ignore that. Yeah, because the tooling in CLion was really sick. I was considering it, but then I got approved, and now I have access to all their tools. Even though I really only write, like Rust, a little bit of C++, but like Scons is not supported in CLion, so that's pretty tough. And I'm also developing on Windows using the MSVC compiler, or MSVC. MSVC compiler is just Microsoft Visual Studio compiler. So it doesn't really work that great. Although you can get it to work. It's tough though. I just use Visual Studio for doing Godot modules. Visual Studio Code, not Visual Studio. It annoys me how often people get that wrong though. They'll just say Visual Studio. It's like, it's not Visual Studio. It's Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio is like something else entirely. So since we're doing inputs, we're doing input almost like completely separate. How we'll do this? This should be left, up. Oh, hold on. Yeah, left, down. Right, up. Right, down. Yeah, I think we'll do it like that. So input Q. You know what? Yeah, this does feel like how it works in C-Line. Yeah, that's neat. No, not Godot data. Godot input. Okay. These are a bit uglier, for sure. Input Q. Godot input. It's up. I've got this completely wrong. Should be left down. You know, yesterday I was planning on doing more work on the Springbone module for Godot, but instead of doing that and being productive, what I did was just binge watch all of Invincible on Netflix. What a great show. What a great show. What a nice subversion of the usual superhero trope. Although it did make me feel kind of bad, because I was like, man, I was kind of planning on like doing stuff today, but instead I just spent like 6 hours watching everything, which is a good reminder of why I don't watch anime anymore. It's because it's like, I like getting things done. We only have so much time on this earth. We can only spend so much of it just, you know, whittling away our time on absolutely nothing. Oh, cool. This actually gives me a thing. A type hint. Let me see. I remember this is very painful when I was trying to figure it all out. Schedule. Yeah, you know what? This does look a lot like how C-Line works. I know I keep mentioning that, but it's still blowing my mind. It's like, I almost paid this much money for this? I almost paid money for this when I could have gotten mostly the same thing for free? The more you know. Schedule, oh, schedule, yeah. It's called schedule. Alright, so I still don't get like super sick code completion though. I do get a nice like param label though. Start up. Hello world. Yeah, I know you don't have to call return explicitly, but I think Rust gets a little confused if you don't have the explicit return. Add system to stage. Stages. I think pre-update is probably the best part for this. So it's like handle input. So we'll do input system here. Oh, cool. That worked. Or input system. Actually, doesn't it work differently in Bevy ECS 6.0 or 060? Let me see. Bevy BevyEngine.org. What? Give me the news. Didn't their ECS change? Didn't their ECS change? Let me see. Some shader stuff. Yeah. ECS. No more dot system. Oh, okay. So you don't need dot system anymore. Oh, now it just works. Cool. So this is actually super extraneous. Right? Yeah. Oh, neat. Yeah, I remember reading the docs for it, or the release notes, and I was like, that seems cool. And then you can see my old code on the right here actually uses the 050 way of doing it, where you had to append systems to everything, which isn't too bad. That's all right. You know, programming is always going to be hard. It's never going to be easy. Collision system, and then isn't there a way to do ordering? I forget how you order things in Bevy. So this is the stuff for ECS stuff. Using Bevy ECS, how do you change detection? We don't need change detection. Component storage? No, not really. Probably better to look at the regular thing. So official example, that's pretty sick. We'll look at game. Breakout, that's pretty good. Okay. It's probably fine. System to stage. Yeah, we can do this. Or add system sets. Maybe that's what I want. How do you add a... Actually, no, because you can't do that here because I'm not using... I'm not using Bevy app. I'm using Bevy ECS. So the Bevy application actually does a few things behind the scenes to make things a lot easier. Or a lot nicer, I should say. Let me see. Is it app RS? Which one of these is this? Is it add system set? Add stage after? Add stage before? This is actually what I was referencing when I was writing when I was just tearing out the ECS. Okay, yeah, we can do add stage after, right? Add stage after. I don't know what target's supposed to be. Something that implements stage label. That's good. Stages. Update. Well, no, that's the target. Wait. Wait. Adds a stage with the given label to the app schedule located immediately after the stage labeled by target. Well... Add stage before, add startup stage, no. Add startup stage after, no. Startup stage before, stage. Add system to stage, so you can see that's actually what I'm doing. Add system set to stage. I don't really know what that does. Yeah, okay. To stage, add system set to stage, schedule. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So am I allowed to do that? Even though I technically have... Okay, so add system to stage. This takes a stage label, something that implements a stage label, and then something else, a system that implements into system descriptor params. Add stage. Is that all I have? I guess that's fine. So target. label of type unknown, so we can just say this is the collision. Why not? Or no, that's the render, I suppose. I think that's probably fine. Let's give this a really quick compile. Hopefully it doesn't totally like explode. It's always a very distinct possibility. Cool. Once you blue screen once, blue screening is now on the table, which is very scary. Let's just give it a really quick compile. It shouldn't break since I'm not... Oh, you know what? It will break because this is throwing an error. What is your problem? Yeah, this should have broken. No. Trait stage is not implemented for function render system. Ooh? What do you mean? That is implemented. What are you talking about? Add stage after. Eh. Render system. Render system. Ooh. Trait stage is not implemented for render system. Required by a bound. You know what? That's totally fair. Is that something that changed? I'm not familiar with that. Render system? Give me the news. Give me the Bevy 06. Hold on. Maybe it's in breakouts and we can look at the various systems that are in it. No? No, because you can just add like a whatever you want, more or less. What is your problem? System input into system descriptor params. Well, this is stage S, where S is a stage. Oh. Oh, okay. That actually requires something different. Interesting. Does this one require something different? Nothing seems to. Okay, these don't use it. Is there anything else? So, like stage after? What's the difference? Startup system, sure. Oh geez, what the heck is this? Star, no. Sprite flipping, probably don't need it. Async tasks, that sounds perfect. Arrgh. Useless. I'm looking for it. Reflection, that sounds pretty good. No. Register type, yeah, it might be useful later. Trait reflection, no. System chaining, give me something. No. ECS guide, all right. Does this give me? Why do I need to? Add stage before, okay. System stage. Ooh. Oh, this is add stage before. Oh, this is the stage. What am I doing? I'm dumb. It should be add system. Okay, well, fair enough. We can do it like this then. Add system to stage. Stage post update, I guess. Post update. And then it'll be render system question mark. This seems pretty okay. Still one error. Post update, is that not what it's called? Stages. Yeah, there we go. Give this a cargo build release. Yeah, there we go. So even preemptively, we can just open this up. Creates a native script in Rust. Oh, before I forget, also do this, which is in target. What we want to do is add a gd ignore file, just so Godot does not try to import anything. So there is no more target directory. That's good. Add resource gd native library. We'll call this, I don't know, Rust gd native lib, I guess. Why not? So let's grab the release binary, Rust DLL. Phenomenal. How does he think of these things? Wow. Give that a save. All right. So, continuing to think, I might need to add a startup stage that's not just hello world, because it's now dawning on me that I don't have control over these, which makes sense for sure. So take this off, and also, like, these should not be collision shapes. I guess these are just sprites, right? These are just sprites. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So welcome to the jam. Sprites. Yeah, we'll call you Paddle. Why not? Welcome to the squad. There's your paddle. Make scene root. This is your ball. Your single ball. And before lewd, etc., etc. Alright. How do you... Alright, I remember seeing this in the Rust book. Godot+Rust book. Give me the book. Actually, I already had the book open. So, common questions. There's the loading. Whatever. Static methods, no. Convert, no. Preload, maybe. Resource preloader. How do I keep a reference of a node? No. On ready. No, I don't want to use that. Types, how can I profile my code? All right, we'll use this one. Time of construction, because there's no way for the engine to know what resources are being added before actually running the code. The resource loader should be used in most cases. Also, you can always put a mutex into a Rust static and load everything you need there during our loading screen. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we can do this then. We can do like a paddle spawn system. Function paddle spawn. Guess we don't need to call it system, but it's always nice to, I guess, internally label your own code, just so you know like what exactly it's doing. All right, so let's see, what is this supposed to do? Huh, why was I doing this? And by this, I mean it's Bevy app. We don't want to look at Bevy. Yeah, add stage. Let's see. Yeah, startup system. Why is startup system so different? I don't remember. Oh, I think it is because like you're able to nest stages within stages. Yeah, I think so. But we don't have to do that anymore. We can do... Or I guess, no, with the run criteria. Oh no, it's this part. Yeah. We could just do this, right? Add system to stage. Stages. Startup. So this is just hello world, I suppose. Get rid of this, but then also we want to add the paddle spawn and ball spawn. Add system to stage. Stages. Start up. So we'll want to do paddle spawn system. And then add system to stage. Stages. Start up. The ball spawn system, right? Ball spawn system. Yeah, seems pretty good. Guess you're not able to separate them out manually, but that's okay. I like having the manual separation. That might just be me, but like knowing how, I guess the order in which things are, being able to like visually parse it out, like, okay, these are all startup. These are all pre-update. These are all update. You know? I think that's helpful to be able to know at a glance. All right, like these are the startup ones. We have 3 startup ones. All right, it's a good thing to be able to really quickly be able to identify things in your code like that. Okay, so we'll spawn these in. I guess right now they're already technically spawned in. Let's grab, let's see, I remember seeing on the Godot+Rust examples one of these. Hold on, where is it? Where is, yeah, right, there is the GitHub. Give me the GitHub. Godot+Rust, pretty sick. Very excited for Godot 4, but I'm not sure when that's gonna hit. But we do have some examples, and some of the examples I remember, there's my example here. Wait, we can find it. Oh, did it change? Oh, did someone change the Rust examples? Oh, they did change the... They changed the examples. And they took out mine. I guess mine wasn't very good, but that's, that's okay. It's okay. I used to be in the Godot+Rust thing at the very least. They took out my thing though. Which one took out my thing? Who was it? Which commit was it? Who did this? I'm very sad. Sad. Maybe this one will get in. Yeah, probably not. Oh no, I think because of my personality. My personality tends to be pretty abrasive. I do acknowledge that. So I'm unlikely to get back in. I don't know, like I've been told by a lot of people that like, yeah, look at that, just completely yeeted. Yeah, I don't know, like it's like if you're not like a, like I said, like I don't want to say not an open-minded person, but like, for lack of a better term, not an open-minded person. Like a lot of people tend to get offended by how I tend to phrase things. Which is kind of awkward, I guess. It's not my intention to be offensive. but I do tend to be pretty blunt in how I, you know, or I guess not. It's not like the combination of like flowery business language combined with how blunt I can be is puts a lot of people off, which is fair enough, I guess, but you know, like I know the like the people who did the VRM loadings thing or VRM loading stuff are not like a huge fan of me. Like for this thing, I don't know. It's like a lot of them don't think very highly of me for whatever reason. I don't know if someone was like talking smack, but I don't know. It's like they I don't know. It's weird. I always get like a really weird vibe when I talk to them, but maybe that's just me being weird. It's hard to say. Hard to say. Some they get offended easily. Yeah, I know some people get offended easily, but it's like, I don't know. I do try to be like as diplomatic as possible whenever I talk to people, usually, especially when we're talking in like voice chat. Hello, Nova. Like some of them are direct, some of them get offended easily. Mr. You sound super chilled out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I know I do have that effect on some people, is that some people get really put off by, I guess, just how I talk. Because I'm not, I don't know, like I try not to be like super direct, but sometimes I just am. So maybe it's just like the dichotomy of like, you know, I was saying like the flowery business language of like, I don't think that this is the greatest approach, you know? Whereas, you know, if you're smart enough to realize what I'm actually saying is I think this is like a really dumb idea. But you say it as I don't think this is the greatest approach. Here's what we should do. I think some people pick up on that and they're like, wait a minute, is this guy? This guy's he's, you know, he's stroking my ego. I can feel it. You know, like what a shitbag. Something like that. Resource loader. But I don't know. I don't. Of course, I don't mean it like that all the time. Sometimes I do mean it like that. It happens sometimes, for sure. Like can't stand easily. Yeah, but it's like I don't know. Like for the small amount of people in the Godot community I've actually talked to personally, they seem to be really put off by, I guess, just me. I don't know. Maybe it's also me just being too neurotic. Also very possible, right? I don't know. I don't know. It's a mystery. Hold on. So this is Godot+Rust. This is regular Godot+Rust. So I see what they're doing here. Resource loader. Anyways, I apologize for bringing out personal business. Like your vibes, like keep on keeping on. Yeah, you know, we'll just keep offending people. It's okay. The more I can unintentionally offend as many people as possible, the better. That's what I always say. So how would you add this to the stage? So this is something I don't actually have access to because it's not part of the scene tree. Hold on. Yeah, so we're taking out the paddle spawn system and the ball spawn system because we might as well just do everything all at once, if that makes sense. Let's see. Add system to stage. Start up spawn system. Something like that. I'll take these out. Take these out as well, comment them out so I don't get confused. And then we'll do So given a spawn system, right? There's only so many things we can pass into it. This might be this might be something I might have to do on the Godot side. Hold on. So looking at these. So this is Godot data. There's a query. We don't need the query. The hard part is that these need to exist in the scene tree before I can start working on them. Let me think. Like this is what I have access to. So we have access to mutable resources. We have access to just regular resources that we can't change. Then we have access to anything that's inside of the query, which is how data is stored within the ECS. Which is true. So I don't know. Is there a get tree? Is there a get tree? Can I just like randomly get tree inside of Godot+Rust? Where's the docs.rs? Please, docs.rs. Useless. Where is it? That's my biggest pet peeve, is that I wish a lot of libraries would just have like all your links on your first page. All your associated links. I get it, you know, usually people are coming from the GitHub page, but still. Alright, so let's load it first and then we'll figure out the rest later. So from here, we should have just ball text scene. So, where was that ball? Yeah, ball. Let ball equal a resource loader. Load whatever the heck this is. Oh, and this needs a few more parameters as well. Type hints. Oh, you do need a type hint, huh? This is some sort of packed scene. No cache. Wait. Loads a resource at a given path, caching the result for further access. The registered resource format loaders are queried sequentially to find the first one which can handle the file's extension, then attempt loading. It's invalid English. If loading fails, the remaining resource format loaders are also attempted, and optional type hints can also be used. Optional? Optional, really? Doesn't look optional. If no cache is true, then the resource cache will be bypassed and the resource will be loaded anew. Otherwise, the cache resource will be returned if it exists. Return an empty resource if no resource format loader could handle the file. Wait, this has default arguments? Wait, Rust doesn't. Wait, does Rust have default arguments? Yeah, no. Rust does not have default arguments. What are you talking about? What? That's why I was confused when I saw it. I was like, wait a minute. Rust does not have default arguments. What are you talking about? Huh? Oh. It's a generated function. Oh, okay. I see. I see. That's always very scary. Then wish I could see what it was saying. Let's see. Res. I actually don't really know what this is supposed to be, but it's some sort of ref to a resource. we'll copy what this person's doing. I'm not really sure what they're doing though. Here's a packed scene. Oh geez, packed scene. And then, yeah. So I believe and then just allows you to pass a lambda as opposed to just a regular value, which is nice. Let's see, let packed scene equal a little bit of unsafe code. I think unsafe is something that you have to get used to if you are doing Godot stuff, or Godot+Rust stuff in any case. Oh, I see what they're doing. Oh, this is wild. This is wild. This is absolutely wild. This is actually like a really sick pattern. Now I'm looking at it. Ooh. So they're pretty much going through all the manual steps that you would need to do if you wanted to load something in. So you would load it using the resource loader, cast it into a packed scene because you don't really know what it's supposed to be, right? Because technically you can load in whatever you want, and then, you know, they instance the packed scene, pass that on into the next function, part of the function chain. Oh, and then you need to cast it one more time. That's crazy. Oh, do this. Yeah, there you go. There's your option ref node. This is pretty wild. Scene, assume safe, seems pretty good. Guess we don't really want to cast it into a node 2D. We could cast it into a sprite, I suppose, because it's more specific, and they'll just continue to pass it on, which is crazy. Map. Yeah, oh, this is very smart. Look at that. Super cute avatar, by the way. Oh, thank you, thank you. This is the reference VRM model. So it's the one that I test all my changes against, because I don't know, it's the reference. If it doesn't match the reference, then I kind of consider it to not be my problem. At least that's my methodology for testing this application. Right, because there's lots of ways to generate VRM models, but VRM Studio generally follows the reference specification. You can also do it manually, of course, but I suppose if you want like manual support, then it's gonna cost some dollars. That I actually almost contractually cannot accept anymore now that I have. Now that I have, what's the word? There's a word that I'm looking for though. Can't remember it. One day I hope to discover it again. Oh, is something broken here? Hold on. Hey. Nice, might as well have a fun, cute reference model. Yeah. Yeah, now that I've technically accepted a JetBrains, I guess, open source sponsorship, I'm not allowed to sell this anymore, which is fine, since I was never making any money off it. But for the reference model stuff, actually, I kind of have two reference models. So this is the official VRM reference model. This is another one, not mine. I've only ever made the duck, but this one actually uses a ton of blend shapes. It's not very super dynamic in terms of like hair model stuff, because I don't think any part of the model actually wiggles with the spring bone stuff. And I think this is actually a VRM model. Oh geez, Wiggle. Yeah, there we go. This one is a Vroid model. Yeah, which has like fancy shapes and all that. Don't ask me why all my models are females. The two models I've been sent, which is this one and the Fox Girl one. We're both female. I did not ask for them. Using Vroid for my model too. Yeah. Vroid is it's a pretty sick piece of software. Although you can kind of see here that like, what the heck are they generating for the hair names? I don't know. Like most of the names are pretty sensible. What the heck? Hair joints? I know what the hair joints are used for. They're used for like being able to shake your model like that. It's starting to make me kind of dizzy. Let's see, track eye, use all. Oh, actually I'm not using raw eye rotation. Look at that, that's actually pretty good considering. It wasn't using my raw eye rotation. Yeah. I think it has to do with how they do the hair paintbrush. Oh yeah, of course. Like you need some way to generate as many hair thingies as possible. I get it, you know. It did make it like pretty hard for me to parse the file afterwards until I figured out a better way of doing it. Let's see. I think I would like to be able to make something like this, but considering that Vroid Studio, I believe is just like a pure JavaScript application, but don't know. Don't know. All right, let me figure this out. I've mistyped something, even though I was like mostly copying this person's code. Very shameful. Map. The map, the map. The map, the map, the map. Huh. So, alright, so I'm missing a semicolon somewhere. I'm not sure where though. That's good. I had to do some weird hacky things to get mine to work how I wanted it. Oh yeah, for sure. I believe that. I am in real life like I'm super bald. So the default Vroid model is pretty much completely up my alley. Like, that's pretty much me, but in like real life. Very bald lad. Surprisingly big eyes for a someone of Asian descent. Yeah, like I have a double eyelid even though I'm a... Well, I guess a lot of Southeast Asians do have a double eyelid. High cheekbones. I'm pretty much an anime character if you think about it. Or if you don't think about it too hard. What am I missing? So this is good, this is good, this is good. I'm missing something. One of these is wrong as well. Hey. Cannot find value render system in this scope. That's true. One of these is wrong. So we take out the spawn. Oh, it's because it's missing this part. Phenomenal. It was the one system. Cannot find value spawn system. Okay. Ball can work if you commit to it. Oh yeah, for sure. I think the hardest part about being bald is not how cold your head gets. I think if anything, it's like my head is still like is warmer than usual now, but now it's like the rest of my body that gets really cold. But it's like if you're bald and like kind of chubby, it looks pretty bad. So now I don't know. Do I run a bit more? I think I do actually run a bit more than I used to. I used to only run like 2 miles every 3 days, or not every 3 days, 3 days a week. But now I run 5 kilometers 3 days a week. Try to eat a bit better as well, etc., etc. Although that goes against my like how I feel about a lot of things. Like I really like eating garbage. Might be a bit controversial. Let's see, vaccine, bullet objects, explode. What is this? Explode? It's just a ref 2D. Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, I've completely accepted it. I think the main reason why I went bald was because I used to have like middle of my back like hair for like a long while. And then just one day I was like, you know what? What if I no longer had hair? And here we are. Here we are. No more hair. Feels pretty good. Give that a compile. I start learning Godot tonight. The rest of your stream goes well. Oh, thank you, thank you. I think my stream is about to be over anyway, so. I think it's about to be over. Still trying to figure out what exactly I'm doing here. It's kind of an unplanned, I guess, Godot stream anyways. Or Godot+Rust stream. I was supposed to do C++, but I kept getting blue screens when I was compiling, so I decided not to do that. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Spawn system. Am I able to pass in the scene tree here? So this is all working off of the regular Godot+Rust stuff, but I'm not able to do that. Oh, you know what? Okay, I see it. I see what I'm supposed to do here. Okay. So I need to use the factory pattern, everyone's favorite pattern, to instantiate in a ECS object at the very start of my Godot application, pass in the scene tree, and then just kind of like hang on to it. Or actually, no, I don't need to hang on to it. But this is the ECS factory, right? Hit it with a derive. Let's see, inherit. This can inherit a reference as well. It's not how you spell it. This one, hit it with a no constructor. I think that's what it's called. Implements ECS factory. Okay. Function new. The heck was that? It's my phone. My phone glitching out. There we go. Function new, which is just called, this is the init function in terms of Godot speak. Now we'll do function new ECS, which will give us our ECS object. Reference, and then this should give back an ECS, I guess. So I'll take this out. No constructor. Field is never read, that's fine. Let's see. Yeah, it's just ECS new, right? One of these. There should be a reference, and there should be okay, I think. Yeah. Field is never read. That's false. Step, we don't need it. We do need read inputs. I think that's fine, yeah. Now we just have a regular new function that adds all the stuff to the stage. And then actually what we can do is pass in the scene tree. Yeah, okay. Non-reference counted objects such as the ones of this type are usually owned by the engine. Reference only types. Okay, cool. So we can modify this. New, we need to pass in a scene tree. So scene tree, which is a ref scene tree. One of these. But then, how do I pass this to our spawn system? It's like I need to immediately run it as soon as possible. We could just do this, right? Like, hello, welcome to the scene tree. Just a ref scene tree. And they'll just hold a reference to it, I guess. Like it's a tref, I guess. Something like that. So scene tree is equal to scene tree, what is it called? Claim. One of these. Yeah, that's okay. And then we can pass it to one of the systems if we register it, I suppose. Yeah, I guess we can just register it, right? Wait, so we don't even need to hold on to it? Let's see, ECS. World. Insert resource. So this does need to be a struct. So we can create a new type struct just to hold it. I think that makes sense. How did I do this before? Godot data? Res mute Godot data. Oh, okay. I guess it doesn't need to be a new type. It can just be like Godot tree, which is a some sort of scene tree, right? No. Maybe because it's going to be the only resource, right? So just pass in scene tree. This needs to be a ref. It should probably be a new type as opposed to just a regular type. I don't know. Let's just give it a try. Hopefully it'll work. And then we can access it here in the spawn system. So this is the tree, I suppose, which is some sort of res mute Godot tree. One of these needs to be mutable, right? Then we have our tree. Tree. Let tree equal unsafe. Tree. Assume safe. Maybe that's okay. This gives me a tref. Then tree. What do we have? Scene tree. Add child. Roots. Do you have a root that we can add you to? Public function root. Roots. We'll just unwrap it. That's okay. Oh, come on. Can assume safe. It's gonna be unsafe again. Unsafe. That's good. Add child. So it's gonna be ball, legible unique name, false, most likely. Alright, I think that's okay. No. Trait bound, optional. Oh, that's an option. Oh. Just unwrap it. We should probably expect, right? So unable to create ball. One of these. This should also be an expect then. So unable to get root. Something like that. Hey. And actually, since we need to work on this multiple times, we should just do like root is equal to unsafe tree root expect to get root assume safe, one of these, and then we can just do root add child ball false. Somewhat cleaner. Somewhat cleaner. So there's your ball, and then we'll need the 2 resources. ECS new takes 1 argument. I see. Sorry. So this is an export arg. This takes 1 argument, which is the scene tree, of course. Scene tree. Ref scene tree. Pass this to you. Scene tree. I think that should be fine. Maybe not. Needs to be a tref. Hey. I mean, maybe we can just hope this works. That tends to work. I don't know. That's something I actually don't quite understand. Is like, when do you get a tref and when do you get a ref? Like, I know what the the acronym stands for, right? It's a temporary reference and there's like a regular reference, but like, there's no way to like define that on the GD script side. Change it back to a duck, by the way. Makes me uncomfortable streaming as a something that isn't a duck. Yeah. Get rid of these scripts. I know how these scripts work. Boom. Boom. Ball and paddle. There's paddle. Grab the paddle. The paddle left equal resource loader. It's a pack scene. Don't cache it. There's your res. We'll cast it to a pack scene. Let's see. Pack scene. Is an unsafe. We'll cast it to. We'll have to call assume thread local because that's what the other person was doing. I actually don't know if this is super necessary. I've always been doing just assume safe, but maybe there's a difference. Gen edit state disabled, then we'll continue to pass it along. hold on. Assume safe. This is also a sprite. There we go. And then the last part of the function chain. Map sprite. Boom boom. Unsafe. Sprite. Assume shared. Yeah, there we go. And then also unwrap it at the very end. Yeah, there we go. Just a million things. How painful. So that paddle left, this should be paddle right. Doesn't matter, we can clean this up later. We'll add all the children, and then we'll also need to modify them afterwards. So that's like paddle left, false, root, add child, paddle, give that a compile really quick. Okay. Not implemented for tref. For new ECS. ECS2 variant is not satisfied. I suppose like this is just like a ref ECS, isn't it? It's not like a just... okay, yeah, I see. So this needs to be a ref. All right. Well, how do I do one of these? how do I do that? That's something I hadn't considered just yet. So factory method, factory method. Oh, it's an instance. It's an instance. Sorry. I've done this before as well with the live 2D stuff. There we go. Okay, so we still have one error, which is trait bound tref is from variant is not satisfied. From variant is not implemented for GD native tref scene tree. Okay. Maybe this should just be like a regular ref then. Okay. Mismatch types, alright. So you can just be a regular ref. Okay. No need to claim it. But one of my least favorite parts of Rust is that you have these cascading errors. Okay, cool. So here what we'll do is we'll create just like an ECS entity that exists on our game object. All right, it took long enough for sure. New script, native script, inherit, reference. This is probably just ECS, right? Invalid class name, ECS. There we go. Now we need to define the library class name, script class. I don't know, ECS, who cares? It doesn't really matter because you're not supposed to put anything in this file anyways. We'll grab this. We're inside of the game class now. We can do var ECS, why not? ECS, load, whatever the heck this is. New. All right, and we don't want to pass get tree to it, but we do want to instantiate the paddles, or at least instantiate the scripts for the paddles. So I think that makes sense to me, but maybe it doesn't. I suppose it's like this doesn't need to be mutable either, right? Since we're just calling this, and pretty much everything in Godot+Rust uses interior mutability, so it's very, very unlikely for me to need to, I guess, you know, do stuff like that. So ECS, and then or this is like ECS factory, right? So this is var ECS factory. ECS is equal to ECS factory. New ECS get tree, one of these. And then I think I just need a way to tick it, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay, then I just need a way to tick, which is where this comes in. Yeah, okay, yeah. So there's mutable self, some sort of reference, and then a delta, so that we know how much time has changed in between us and Godot. Yeah. What's your problem? There we go. So that mutable delta res is equal to self world get resource mutes. Is it called delta? Probably. I'll unwrap it. Delta res 0, that's a new type. We'll just set it equal to delta. And then we'll run the schedule, right? Self schedule run using our own world. Should be okay. Yeah, okay, cool. So we'll just need to recompile one more time. Shouldn't need to grab anything, but we'll just run it as fast as possible in the process function. It's called step, right? Yeah, step delta. So this shouldn't actually do anything because there's no like input logic, but we can always just kind of run it. Oh, we can always do this, right? ECS read input, one of these, and then we'll step it. Yeah, okay. Okay. In non-existent function, new ECS in this thing. Really? Non-existent function, new ECS in base reference, ECS GD native script. Should be exported. Did I not export it? Oh, it's because it's not available here. Handle, add class, ECS factory. There we go. Should be fine. Now we're actually loading it into Godot. Give it a run. Hold on. This sometimes happens as well, or sometimes happens as well. Give that a save. Oh geez. Non-existent function, new ECS in base reference. Is this not how it's spelled? Is this not how it's spelled? I've done this before. Oh, it's because I'm not supposed to instantiate this directly. I forgot. Okay. So new scripts. ECS factory. Inherit reference. This is an ECS factory. Give that a little create. Library. Comes from Rust. Yeah, there we go. So we'll just load in this one instead. Ooh, okay. Non-existent function, read input in base nil. I did see something load in really quickly. Read input in base nil. Hey, do we run into any issues somewhere else as well? GD native, core, method panicked. Okay, that's good. Thread, unnamed, panicked at stage startup. At stage start does not exist or is not a system stage. Mod RS. Yeah, that's fair. Bevy ECS. What are you talking about? Stages startup. That does exist. Eh? Did I see? Did I? Wait, what? This doesn't look. What? I don't know. Anyways, I got things to do later on, but thanks for tuning in. Apologies I couldn't be more interesting, but I gotta pass it on. I got stuff to do. Got work tomorrow. I don't really know what went wrong. Stage startup does exist, question mark. But maybe something changed in the ECS stuff, but if that changed, then that's gonna require a lot of digging. So, such is life, such is life. I'll pass it on. We'll pass it on to Nova. They were here before. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I will be live Tuesday from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, working on something, probably Godot related as always. But yeah, I don't know. What's the stuff we gotta do? There's the Discord. There's the GitHub. If you're interested in any software that you've seen on screen, here it is. The GitHub, the streaming thingy. Pretty much everything I do is open source. Anyways, get sent. Goodbye.